Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a little bit of ink work with the brush on an actual picture. Normally at this point in the process I will pencil a little more. Normally, like I said, this is I start out, I have these books which I've drawn all in. This one is from 2011. Then I go back and I try to find an interesting drawing. These are all spontaneous ink drawings that I then usually print out one of the drawings in blue line and pencil it and then go to ink. But recently I've been just kind of taking some of these right from here right to a finished ink drawing without any penciling, just to kind of get something a little more spontaneous, a little different than I normally do. You know, I just like to change things up now and then. So this is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to turn this one into one of these finished type ink drawings. And this is being done on, this is a 9x12 smooth Bristol pad. I cut the paper in half, so it's 6x9, just a convenient size for working small. And as you can see here, it doesn't even have the blue lines don't even go to the edges of my border. I always like to put borders on things so they work well within borders. So where the heck did I put my brush? Ah, it's over here by my water. So I got my brush, we'll dip it in ink, and let's see what we can come up with. First thing, we've got a figure in the middle here that's got female hips. So we'll give her some breasts, which I didn't quite draw. Start out there, some indications. Then, let's see. Skirt, pants. Well, we'll make this a skirt. I like the see, I'm making big thick lines here because that's the sort of bold nature of this ink work. I like those lines there. These would be little tiny pencil lines if I were see that thick to thin there? I want it to go thin to thick, so I'll thicken up this edge down here. Once again, I'm always searching for that perfect line, so I'll if I can't make it with one stroke, I'll take a few more. Now let's think about the arms for a second. We'll give her a V-neck. So in order to think about the arms, I had to think about where those shoulders meet and how I'm going to do that. So we'll give her something that straps up top with something sleeveless. That way we can round the shoulder right into there and start with the wrist, draw a forearm that bulges out, because most human forms are curved and bulge out. So again, I'm not worrying about being too anatomical here. Just kind of in the, as you can see, she's got no ribs right there, so we'll add some thickness in. This is just all about making an interesting ink drawing, seeing what I can do. One side of her chest is bigger than the other, so we'll add a little more thickness right there. Bring this down a little bit. Like I said, this type of ink drawing is about fixing your mistakes as you go and just trying to make something. You're not trying to make anything. If I was trying to make something absolutely perfect, I would be penciling it first. Look how small her head is there. So we'll start by making that head a bit bigger. You know what? We'll continue these lines right up and make her hair stick up. We'll give her a hairline. Somewhere around there. We'll make her hair stick up. Why not? That's just fun. Trying to keep this moving and fast for the video. Drop in some eye ridges, some eyeballs, some eyebrows. And we'll go with a smile. And some ears. The ears are, see, we'll round off that chin a little bit too. We can make that a little bit nicer. Bring her neck thickness into line. Ears go in between the nose and eyes. Just give a hint at ears. A little bit more hair sticking up over there. I used to wear my hair sticking up in my youth, so I like sticking up hair. A little hint of a shoulder. Bring this bicep down. Bulge and curl out. See that? Got that bulge a little bit wrong. That's okay. We'll work with it. That's what this drawing in Just Ink is all about, learning to work with your mistakes and not making them too precious. Plenty of time to worry over your mistakes if you're doing a drawing in pencil. In ink, let's just keep moving. A hand, let's see, we'll give her a thumb sticking out there. Everyone has their own basic method for doing a hand. Mine is for doing a simple hand gesture. Mine is just a few triangles. There's nothing spectacular about it. Put some bracelets on her to hide the fact that I messed up the size of her wrist. And over here. And that's all. Putting bracelets on make a nice decorative element, and it's how you hide the things that went wrong when you're doing something like this. You learn tricks like that as you go, how to make something work. That's what ink drawing is about, making something work. Sometimes when you mess something up like this, you don't like the size of it? Hey, let's give her a black glove on that hand. How about that, huh? A black gauntlet of some kind. To distinguish it, we'll just kind of make some lines here that make it look a little different. It's all about trying to make it interesting, trying to make something happen out of nothing. Little line there to help define the form. Then she's got her legs together. Let's draw the outside of that thigh, which means this thigh will be on top. And we'll give her some weird knee boots. Her foot runs off the edge here, which is a bit awkward, but oh well. Nothing we could do about it on this one. You really don't want to cut a foot off right there of a drawing, because it makes the drawing awkward. But like I said, this is just something we're playing. I knew that going in when I picked this drawing, that there was an awkward knee angle. We'll tuck this leg in behind there. That there was an awkward foot angle, but I said, we'll go with it. We'll just run it off. Then sometimes, as you want to give it more interesting, drop a seam in there, drop a seam in there. I want some marks at her elbows too. just to emphasize that that's her elbow. This ear could use a little more thickness. Alright, now let's see around her. See that I've got these lines right here? We're going to try to make them... first this ink has to dry. You don't want your ink to go through the hand, so let's work on this part first. I am not sure what this shape is here. It looks kind of like a giant thumb. I don't like how close it is to her body, so I'm going to bring it back a little bit. I'm running this right past my border because it's easier to make the lines that way. And this is all just, like I said, I did not figure out this drawing in advance. So this is all just, sort of looks like a fingernail right there. And like I said, I did not, if I was using the Japanese method of holding a brush, I could have matched those up better, but I didn't. So I'll have to go over it another time like that to get that right. You know what, we're going to turn this into a giant thumb for whatever reason. We'll get some thumb wrinkles going there. Guess a giant thumb's trying to get her. We'll work this side like that. Drop something up there. Once again, in this drawing I'm just working shapes. Don't even know what I'm working them into at the moment. This is a chance to use my side of my brush just to give that a little texture in there. Make it a little different. My brush is loaded was loaded with ink at the beginning, so I'm not going to get any skips or dry brush technique in that particular one. And that just adds a little texture up there. Get some lines in. And I like this corner. I'll get some lines going this way. This is all just a thick brush technique. There's nothing, no hatching, no cross hatching, just moving the brush. Loaded with ink. Okay. We still need some, let's drop some shape in there. Just a little thick to thin. See if we can go something slightly over their head so it makes it look. Now I'm thinking this is the edge of a page. She's in a book and there's someone looking at the book, and that's their thumb as they hold the book. See, this is the stuff you think of as you're creating something out of just the ink. Something, like I said, that I haven't planned out. Now that I see that, I want the thumb to be a little thicker and stand out a little more so that it separates itself from the rest of the drawing. If I want to add some little tick marks in there to try to give a different scale to the drawing. Sometimes with all these big, bold, dark marks I'm making, sometimes making little tick marks to just define the edge defines a different scale for this particular part of the drawing and makes it look like a different size. All of a sudden that thumb takes on a different life than the rest of the drawing just from these little tick marks, making it look like it's at a different scale. Alright. Can I finally get to this side? Let me see, those tick marks have to dry. Blow on them a little. If you're working with a 107 or any kind of dip pen like this, you have to be even more careful with your ink drying, because this can leave little pools of ink that you cannot see, and then all of a sudden you get your hand in them and drag it across, and it's really annoying. But here we go. Now we want to make these I keep my hand off it as much as possible in case there's still wet marks. But once again, I'm using the meat of my forearm near my elbow as a pivot point, so I can make that hole. It looks like I didn't have enough ink in that line. See how the ink dried out over there? I'll have to make that again. There we go. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this area over here, but we'll open up. Once again, there's a very loaded with ink brush I'm using right here to make those big black marks. There we go. We'll go in the other direction now. We'll get some smaller marks going this way. Let's see what kind of shape we can find out of that. Oh, now I like it. Here we go. That closes up that shape a little bit. Now we're going to go, this is just one of the textures you can use to add visual interest to something, which I like, which is just sort of circles in a background. Doesn't necessarily mean anything except pattern, to add visual interest to an ink drawing. Alright, we got those there. Let's add some, I want this to be mostly dark, so we'll get thick black lines with only thin little lines showing through. There we go. Look at that up there. We could go with another loop-the-loop right there. And I think I need, oh, we gotta watch out for that wet loop-the-loop. Don't drag my hand through it. I want that to be thicker to define the edge of the space she's in. Then I want some sort of background on the bottom of her. Just the top is fine, but down here I want something. I can always make it the ground. We'll drop in a few far off mountains. To define a visual space that we're familiar with and kind of. And now we'll use the little side of the brush. We got to get some of the ink off there to get a little dry brush going. And we'll drop a pattern in of sort of grassland, whatever land. There we go. We can loosen this up and give it a little more space. Make the lines a little bigger as it comes forward to give the illusion that the ground is coming forward. And there we go. See if there's anything else I want in there. I want her hair a little more crazy. Point that brush a little bit better. Bring that hair hairline down to make it look like she's got a headband on. Just a little bit crazier. Let's see if we can. So there you go. That's how. That's one way to use a brush when you're just kind of making a drawing, working stuff out with it. Big, thick, bold lines. This isn't anything I'd quite call inking in cartooning ways. This is more straight up drawing with a brush. But that's how it works. And we end up with this, let's see, where's the original? That right there was the original drawing in the middle there. Whoops. Which was just sort of a strange figure in space. And we ended up with this thumb of a person looking at a book or through a portal or something at an actual figure. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put a seam. One last thing we're going to do, we're going to continue our seam motif from here and put a seam in her dress right up the side there. Just to give that a little more. There we go. Oops, that's the final. See if we can back off on this a little, or if it's backed off. Oops, that's as backed off as possible. But then again, there's a lesson in using a brush. We'll catch you next time.